down here, 4 seconds out with Eddie Hearn. Eddie will go straight into it because we're pushed a little bit for time. How much of the loss for Felix Cash there was to do with the eye and maybe the weight? We saw how he struggled on the scales, had to strip down.
No, it wasn't the weight. I mean, he made the weight fine. He was like 0.1 of an ounce over. He took his pants off. That's not the reason he lost his fight. You know, the reason he lost his fight is some of the things that we were worried about, and we said in our interview, you know, how do you come back from 18 months out of the ring? How do you come back from that inactivity with the sharpness? And, you know, when you haven't lived a life for that period and someone else has, it's very difficult to overcome them when the fight starts to get tough. I thought he didn't start well at all, but then, you know, started to land some good, decent shots, but then got caught at the end of the fifth, I think it was. The cut wasn't helping him. The body language didn't look sensational, to be honest with you. And I think no complaints at the scores at the time of the stoppage. And also probably if the fight would have gone on, you'd be fancying Tyler Denny in that situation. Strong, lived the life, you know, and I know he's 15-2 or whatever he is, but he's a good fighter and he's a great story, lovely lad, and congratulations to him.
What can you say of the contractual situation with Felix Cash?
In what, my contract with him? And we've got options on other fights, but it's really down to him. You know, I think you got to ask yourself, do you want to be a fighter? Do you want to go through that kind of stuff? You know, it's going to be a very difficult pill to swallow. But only he can make those decisions. You have to look yourself in the eye sometimes in a dark room, and you will know deep down if you've still got it. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what you do. You'll know how hungry you are, how good you are, and how sharp you are. And if you ain't those things, it's time to go.
There's a treat served up for the fans in the form of the Conor Walker-Lewis Crocker fight. Was Lewis Crocker fortunate to get the victory? A lot of people ringside were saying maybe Conor nicked it.
Yeah, I said a lot of people on our side had it a draw or Crocker edging it. And then when I got in the ring, the whole of that side had Conor Walker winning it. I thought it was probably a draw. I don't know. The point was a killer, to be honest with you. And, you know, I'm a big Conor Walker fan. I'm a big Lewis Crocker fan, but you've got to give him a lot of respect for the way that, you know, he fought in there tonight. He'll be back on a Matchroom show 100%.
Just hearing from your previous interviews that you've done there was a new situation you had to deal with regarding the Akib Fiaz and Kane Baker fight. How late in the day was that fight pulled?
About half an hour before doors opened.
Wow.
So, yeah, look, I said in the interviews, sometimes I've learned from, you know, the past where I've sometimes been advised not to say anything and, you know, but the reality is, there's no point fucking mincing words. I was made aware of some irregular betting activity around that fight. I had to deal with the situation, deal with the information that I had, speaking to various people involved, my team as well, the Gambling Commission, and then I made a decision to pull the fight. I didn't like a lot of the stuff that I heard, wasn't willing to take a risk and progress with that fight, and also, you know, then I spoke to the British Boxing Board of Control, who also said, yes, we think you're doing the right thing, and now it's over to them for an investigation into the matter. I can't give you all the answers, but I'm sure they'll come out once there is a full hearing, and there'll be a statement either from ourselves, but more likely from the British Boxing Board of Control.
I don't know if you saw the statement from Ryan Garcia's legal team. I think it's the second statement from them recently put out. And they said, look, they feel there's an agenda headed towards Ryan Garcia regarding the ban. Just your reaction to that. And also, is the ban of 1 year long enough given how fighters often fight this in this generation?
That sometimes it's frustrating because, you know, you look at the Conor Benn situation, and I think if Conor Benn would have almost played the system when this first came out, I think he'd be fighting by now in the UK. But because he was protesting his innocence so hard and wasn't prepared to go and do any kind of deal to suggest any guilt, it's almost taken him longer. So I guess the frustrating thing is we don't actually know what was said behind closed doors. You know, did he cheat? Did he not cheat? It's kind of like just gets brushed under the carpet, but I guess it's been dealt with as well. And there's certainly no agenda against Ryan Garcia. And the New York State Athletic Commission came out and said he'd now tested positive for another test. Yeah. He failed 3 drugs tests. So, you know, it was in his system, but not my fighter. A bit tired of speaking about it now. I just think I'd like to see him off social media and just trying to get himself well. Do you know what I mean? That's what they should be prioritising at the moment.
We're expecting a press conference for AJ versus Dubois. Do you agree with your colleague Tony Bellew, who says this is a short fight for Anthony Joshua? So. He'll deal with him early.
I hope so, but no, I don't. I think it's a very tough fight. You know, you saw Hrgovic is a very good heavyweight, and Dubois stood in there with him. He traded with him. You know, he he came through the other side, and a lot of the criticism that Dubois has had in the past, he kind of overcome at that point. So I think it's a dangerous fight. I think one that AJ will win. I think the one that he's favourite for, but we'll see. You know, hopefully we can get that done, and if we do, there could be an announcement on Wednesday.
Very last thing for myself, I just want to get your take on Conor McGregor. He pulled out of his UFC main event because of a injury to his toe. We've seen fighters in the past in boxing, you have an injury to your toe, you get ridiculed. Your take on that? He says he doesn't want to enter the cage without an injury.
He can't afford to enter the cage with an injury, because if he gets beat, his career's over. So, you know, if he's got to delay it a couple of months, so be it. You know, as someone that's just recently injured their foot playing for England in Soccer Aid, I know how painful it can be. So get well soon, Conor.
Cheers, Eddie. Appreciate it.